Well, hello there, and welcome to another edition of Johnny Davis Live. We're here on this Friday, April 17th, 2026. Have some delightful conversations today. We're going to dive in a little bit. Mr. Jeff Das out of Virginia, and Don Rogers out of North Carolina, along with Mr. K.C. Rogers out of Tennessee. All of these guys are promoters with the IKF. We do semi-contact, we do full contact. And so we're going to be on today just chatting it up a little bit about, some of the things they have going on, as well as, maybe some of the ideas or whatever. Johnny Davis Live, always real talk with real solutions. So we're going to get right into it with these guys and see what's going on. Our first guest is a young man. Let me kind of clean up my screen here just a moment. Uh, Jeff. He's out of Virginia. He's a host of the Grand Slam tournament there in Rustburg, Virginia, a place I really haven't heard of. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that. How you
Yes,
doing there,
sir.
Jeff? How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great, sir. Thanks for having me on and excited to be a part of this.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I certainly do appreciate you as well. My first thing, but with you, to be honest with you, I want to talk a little bit about that kick. Let's just get right into it. you know,
Yes,
that
sir.
that I think that people do not understand how difficult it is, right? To get to that level of expertise to
Right.
throw that kind of kick. And
Yes, sir.
so I want you to tell me just quick. I'm just going to dive in that. I got some other thing. I kind of be
Yes, sir.
everywhere, but tell me a little bit about the what it takes to perform, in my opinion, pretty much a perfect jumping front kick.
Oh, yes, sir. Well, thank you. Um, yeah, I mean it's years of experience, but you have to with every kick. What I tell everyone is that you have to break it down. Like if you're so many people try to start learning a kick, and we all do this when we teach kicking in our classes and our clubs and our schools and dojos. It's fun to stand up, learn, and show them, hey, look at this. Now just do it. But
Right.
really, we need to go from the ground up. So to me, you break it down, let's get to the ground and actually work on the correct front kick. How, if you're going to jump in the air, how is your knees going to be? How is your posture going to be? Those types of things. But I do the same thing with my side kick, my front kick, my round kick, axe kick. And then we stand up, we put a hand on a chair and focus on it. Then we work on, jumping, landing properly, then kicking, then, step by step is the
Yeah.
key with it. And it's the hard work that it takes to do these types of things.
Right.
Um, but you know what, it's fun.
Yeah,
I've been doing it for 8 years, so
I definitely want to go back for a moment because I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't really know a lot about you and some of the things that you've done and all that. But as of late, we've gotten to know one another, and I've kind of been watching some of your videos.
yes, sir.
And man, I'm telling you, you're good. You're good,
I
and I'm saying that from my martial arts background. I mean, it's pretty extensive, and being a 6 degree black belt and stuff. And I
yes,
was decent at katas. I was decent at it, right?
yes,
And
sir.
I was a kicker, kicker, right?
Yeah.
But your kicks remind me of someone. I'm going to see if that name is going to come up, and those who might have inspired you in martial arts.
Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So yeah, I mean, for me, growing up, the when I got into martial arts, the people that inspired me, of course, Bill Wallace was, amazing guy. I did all of his seminars growing up. John Chung is someone as
I
well.
knew, I
Yes, sir.
knew you were going to say that. That was not a setup, right? I
Yes,
knew it
sir. Yes,
because
sir.
I'm like, his style, snap, 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 snap.
Yeah.
It's like John
Yes,
Chung, who was phenomenal.
right.
Go as you were,
Yes,
as you
sir.
were. Yeah.
Yes, sir. And then, years later, I got to train, and my competition coach was John Valera, who was from that lineage of Eddie Thomas and my instructor Lawrence Arthur, and also Charlie Lee, right? And so he, now he has been a huge stunt coordinator all over the world, and but he's known as most people as like the best forms and weapons competitor in the sport karate circuit,
Right,
right? So that's
right.
who I learned from. at least once a week, twice a week. So yeah, so it's important to have that type of thing. But the big thing that people forget too, they see, and again, it's funny we're talking about forms on a kickboxing podcast, but they see just the forms part, but they don't realize the whole martial artist, right? And
Right,
you know,
right.
and so
Well,
John was
well,
an
you say
amazing
it's a
fighter. And-
kickboxing podcast, but it's
yeah,
not just about kickboxing and Muay Thai.
yes, sir.
I want to kind of explain to people that that is my base. Those who might follow me, oh, well, Johnny was a good fighter and all that. Well, guess what? I started exactly who Jeff is and what he's doing
Right.
with the
Yes, sir.
karate, the katas, the weapons. That was me for most of
Right.
my childhood. And
Yes,
all of
sir.
that. And so that gave me a great foundation actually for kickboxing,
Right.
for timing and the kicks and the speed and
Right.
the techniques and all of that right there. So it's huge. What about martial arts that attracted you early on? Were you getting beat up in school or something like
I
that?
mean,
Or
I was really young. I think I started before I even got to school, so I was 4 years old when I started, and actually
you were
back then
4 when you started?
I was
Oh
four.
my
Yes, sir.
God.
So
Right.
I went to who became my first, like my main instructor. I went to him, and at that time he didn't have classes for 4 year olds, and he was like, "I don't have anything for you." So I found a program that did for a year, and then somehow about within 2.5, 3 years later, I finally made my way back to him. It was, it was meant to be on that. So
Wow. Wow.
I was a big, and still am a big pro wrestling fan. And so my favorite pro wrestler was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and he would come
Yes.
over with a karate uniform, a black belt, and do kicks and chops. And so I was like, it's going to be that. So that was, and then of course, Ninja Turtles, everything like that from those time, Karate Kid. But it was pro wrestling for me. It was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. It was really cool. A couple years ago, I was able to finally meet him
Oh
and
wow.
get him to sign one of my championship belts that I've won, and in Winston Salem at an event they do out there. So
Oh wow, wow! I
that
mean,
was
I was a fan of him as well, obviously because he came in with the karate aspect to
yeah,
wrestling.
yes, sir.
With your teaching philosophy in your gym that you have over there, and you could tell me a little bit about the gym as well.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, what would you say was your overall philosophy for trying to be a good instructor and to teach kids, and maybe tactics that you might have of reaching
Yes, sir.
different people
Yes,
with
sir.
different mindsets and different backgrounds and all that.
So again, like you said, you never heard of Rustburg. Rustburg is a very small town, 1,700 people in the town, but we are the center of the county. So the county, it's the county seat. So even we are right outside of Lynchburg, Virginia, which is a bigger city. And growing up in a small town, uh, most people around here, they work on their farm. That's what they're going to do. They're going to take over that for their family. Everyone is kind of has their path set. You're going to do baseball. You're going to do football. Those
Yes.
small town things, and that's great. And I love that. And I still live here, so it's not like I ran away because I didn't like it. I'm not
You
saying that,
really
but
are a hometown
yeah,
boy.
yeah, I'm a hometown. Yeah. So, but what I mean is that to do something like this and and say, hey, I want to be a national champion, I want to be a world champion, I want to travel all over. um I just tell everyone, like, find your own way, don't let anyone tell you no.
Right.
And then the other thing is that, and I've noticed this from teaching and having my school for 18 years. um, Excuses are real, okay, but they're really holding you back. And what I mean is that people, when I say stop making excuse, and they would say, no, it's real. I'm like, yeah, I understand. I don't think you're making it up. It's not something that you're making up,
Right.
but it's really holding you back. And if you continue to go back on this story that you have, then you're just going to stay in the same repeat mode all the time. And we got to figure out how to
Mm.
get to that next step. So for me, I teach that with everything, if it's our traditional martial arts, if it's the weapons, if it's the kickboxing, if it's, our wrestling and our grappling program that we do, so it's everything. Like, we got to find, a way to keep going.
Right, right. I want to ask you before I transition into the event that you have coming up.
Yes, sir.
That I noticed on your your poster here, you says God's timing is always perfect.
Yes, sir.
You somehow institute your faith or your religion into your martial arts. How does that work out for you, and why is that important to you?
Yeah, it's important to me because it's who I am, right? It's real. I wouldn't be in this position without, God putting me in this position. So I'm blessed for that. I'm blessed to make it the the best way I can, and again,
Right.
I fall short every single day. And he's the one that kind of puts me back where I need to be,
I
so
always like that. I always like that. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. As you were. As you were. Go ahead.
oh, well, no, for me, it's just sharing that is my purpose of opening the school in the beginning. It wasn't like, I know it can't just be about martial arts, but it's got to be bigger than that, right?
Right,
So
right. And as I transition my final question on this, how do you relate that to people that might come to your club that might not necessarily be coming for
right,
the religious aspect of it? In
right,
our society today, we have a lot
right.
of people with different ideas, different thought process.
Yes,
They
sir.
want to come to you to learn martial arts. How do you balance that? I mean, is that front and center in your club, or is that more
Yeah,
personal, or do you try to teach
right.
that to the students?
So it's for me, it's like how I don't necessarily have to be like, "Hey, you all have to do and believe what I believe,"
Right.
but this is who I am, and this is where I come from, and this is
It's
my
work for
background.
you.
Yeah, this
Right.
is what works for me. This is my belief, and I move forward that way, right?
Right.
We had that, one of our things, we do, for our classes, student creed and stuff, and we say we're going to be loyal to my God. That is the first one, my God, my family, my instructors, my school, those things, and we let everyone, just know that,
Well,
So,
I think
uh,
you're also keeping it general too. You're not saying a specific religion or
right,
a
right,
certain God or anything.
yes,
God,
sir, yes, sir.
there
Right.
you leave it open for them
I leave
based
it
on
open,
whatever they use. Right.
but I do share when we have, like, our mat chats or dojo talks. I just share about what I go through as well,
Exactly.
because if not, then it's just I'm reading from a book, or I'm just telling them things, or just telling them to do something, but I need to share my story as well, and that's
Exactly. I
that's
think
how that's how it really connects,
Right.
so
Well, I think that's good. Also, as a transition here for May 2nd, right,
yes, sir.
for the Grand Slam. First of all, tell me a little bit about the Grand Slam tournament and what that
Yes,
is.
sir. Yes, sir. So the Grand Slam Open, I started the first year in 2010, and it became one of the fastest growing tournaments in sport martial arts, the Open
Oh,
Circuit.
wow.
And we were a national tournament within like 2 years. We were a
Oh,
part of
wow.
the NBL circuit, and we blew up really big in that. Having a lot of the continuous fighting was one of our big things. So pretty much, old school kickboxing, with pretty much what we are doing now, right? With
Right.
the semi-contact type thing. And that was but of course the other forms, weapons, everything as well too.
Right.
So we blew up for that around 2018. I took a little break as um, just stresses with everything, and focusing on the school, and I
Right.
put a lot of pressure on making this event the biggest event it could be. And I need to step back, and now refreshed, and ready to grow it again. And so for some people, I know I've gotten some questions, is because I'm doing both the open circuit with the point sparring and
Right.
this. When they sign up on the IKF website, are they signing up for the correct thing? Yes, we have two different sites, so there's no confusion at all. If
Right.
you want to sign up for the IKF, those divisions are done exactly the way the IKF is done. Then we have
Right.
our other divisions that are on a separate site. So there's
Right.
no confusion there on that. So, but if you have questions, that's no problem.
Why did you think the PKB point Muay Thai point kickboxing might fit your tournament?
Well, I've been looking at it for years. Okay, I think the first time I experienced the PK was at Super Grands 2010 and 2011
Oh,
in
wow.
Sacramento, and
Oh, wow.
you guys had
You
that
were there?
event out. Yes, sir. I was there. Yes,
Oh,
sir.
get
Yes, sir.
out. Yeah. I
Yeah,
was working
yeah.
with I can't remember the
Boyce,
gentleman's name. Boyce.
Boyce
Boyce
Lydell.
Limit.
Yes, sir.
Boyce
Yes, sir. So
Lydell. Yes.
I was one
Yes.
of his right hand promoters, right hand men, and helping
Oh,
run
get
the
out.
tournament
That was a
and that
huge
side.
tournament. I mean, that was
Yes, sir.
huge and
Yes,
stuff
sir.
like that. And he invited us to be a part of it. Man, God, boy, I tell you, you just
Yeah.
never know. You just never know.
That's
Small
right. So I've been knowing about it for a long time, and then seeing it at tournaments like in South Carolina in Terry Gore's tournament.
Yeah.
I was coordinating a lot of events down there, and I knew it was something that I wanted to put in. I think I even had talked to you before in the past, like 2015, 16, after we
Right.
did the Winston-Salem tournament.
Sure.
And so it was just something that I wanted to do. And then I started taking my son to these events the past 2 years.
Oh, wow.
And the thing is, man, the sportsmanship, the camaraderie, the vibe of an IKF PKB tournament is something I hadn't really experienced before. And
Thank
I
you.
really think it's a great place for my students, my club, and for other people. So I wanted to bring that to what we had. And then also, bring it to other things too, like
Right.
do separate more events. I want to do more events, more Grand Slam events with
Right.
IKF. So.
Right. Well, tell people about your event as far as that day and exactly how they can get registered
Yes, sir.
and what to expect, etc.
Yes, sir. So biggest thing for us, like I said, we're in a small town, but it's gonna have a huge space. We have, the gym is humongous. It's really the size of 2 basketball courts. We probably won't even need to use all that, but there'll be plenty of
Right.
space around. Very similar to what we have on the flyer here. We'll have those blue pipe and drape around.
Nice.
We're gonna be setting up a warm up area as well with mats. And so we're excited about it. It's going to be busy because we'll have about
Sure.
8 rings of martial arts going on. Then we'll
Right.
have our ring for IKF, and it's just going to be amazing. It's going to be a lot of energy and fun. I believe
Yes.
we said we're going to start doing the weigh-ins around 9 and then
Yes.
get going around 11:30. So it'll be a lot of different styles of fighting happening, which is going to be really cool. So I
Yes.
think for people that maybe haven't been to an open tournament before, it'd be a great thing to kind of see
Right.
the different realms of martial arts, the full experience of martial arts at this event.
Right.
So
100%. Well, we're looking forward to actually being there, ladies and gentlemen. He's talking about the IKF Point Muay Thai and Kickboxing tournament that's going to be in his Grand Slam tournament at the Rushburger High School there on May the
yes,
2nd.
sir.
All the information is on the platform at ikffightplatform.com. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking to the one and the only Jeffrey. I just put Jeffrey
That works.
Dawes. What's happening? Thanks, brother. Appreciate you
Thank
being
you,
on,
guys.
okay?
Yes,
All right.
sir.
Talk to you soon. All right, guys. That's Jeff Doss there. Long time martial artist and a great guy. If you guys want to plan to come out to a very nice tournament, May 2nd, put it on your calendar. You can see all of our events on the platform at ikffightplatform.com. All right, our next guest is the one and the only man who's kind of making a lot of waves there in Tennessee. This young man, I say young man, right? I can call him that. I can call you that, right, Kevin? Let's give it up for
I might be a little younger than you, but not much.
Mr. Kevin Rogers is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? How you doing, Kevin? Kevin is muted or
Great
something there. I don't know what is going on. He's just kind of sitting there looking at me. Kevin, you got to unmute.
Is it freezing up?
There you go. You're there. How you doing?
Yeah, I think the connection's a little bad. Good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's fine. You're fine. You're fine now.
All right. Okay, good.
Can you hear me okay?
How's it going, guys? Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Okay, good. Kevin Rogers is in the house. This man over here is one of the busiest men in Tennessee, right? Making it happen with Muay Thai kickboxing events and some other things. And let's kind of break down a little bit about your organization and what you're doing over there with Muay Thai and kickboxing, in particular with the IKF.
I mean, everything we do is with the IKF for the most part.
Yes.
But we started out doing PKBs. They started out a little small, kept getting bigger and bigger. I think we started out with 60, 70 people, and I think our last one had over 130-ish.
More,
154, something like that. It got pretty crazy. Have another one of those PKBs coming up June 6th in downtown Nashville at the Doubletree Hotel, but we're actually doing a double header. And after that, we're doing a Battle of the Badges first responder fight night, kickboxing, and having some officers and stuff come out and do it. But we will be cutting off registrations early.
Right. For sure. Well, let's go back for a moment. Let's talk about your May 8th event. You got a really big card coming up on May 8th. Tell us a little bit about that in Nashville.
So May 8th, we're going to try our first hand at pro. I've got some pretty exciting pros coming out. It's going to be at Plaza Mariachi. It'll be announced by Sam Alvey, as always. He's kind of become the voice of Top 10 Promotions. Sam's doing great. Check out his Instagram. He's doing interviews left and right every day with our fighters.
Some guy.
Yeah. We've got live DJs that come out and promote the show, but a couple of our boxing matches, and our boxing matches are no joke. Everybody's must go. Every pro I put on the card.
Oh, wow.
Nobody. We don't do easy fights in top 10. Our guys are coming to bang. So I've got Tyler the Diamond versus Jamal the Don Wallace at 135 pounds. They're both
both.
We're
looking forward to actually working with the boxing program under our PBSC. For the full contact, that we are taking that to the next level, and that's actually going to be the first one, and all that. But we have some other events that are also, getting on board for the full contact kickboxing. We're happy for Tennessee working with the athletic commission and stuff like that, allowing us to present that. And why do you think, matter of fact, your conversations with the commission and IKF? What has that conversation been like with you? Talking to them about us and what we bring.
Very positive. Very positive. I mean, originally they weren't going to approve my date, and then after some conversation, a letter from you, and everything else, they went ahead and did it. And honestly, the big thing that I'm seeing is I'm getting phone calls, probably 2 a week, from this coach or that coach, saying, "Hey, I want to know more about it." Everybody's hungry for a change. Everybody's hungry for a change. USA Boxing is a great organization, been around since the beginning of time with boxing, but I think people want variety. People want someplace else to go try it, and they want to see what else is out there. And I'm impressed by how many people are reaching out and asking me more and more about it. We're to the PBSC boxing on our next event. We had great success with the Point MMA. That blew up. So our next show is going to have all three on it. And I think it's just, I foresee it ending up splitting into 2 shows. There's just going to be too many people.
Oh, wow.
Too many boxers, kickboxers, and MMA all at one. I'm not going to be able to do it all in one day. But it's doing really, really good. But like I said, back to May 8th, I've got some pretty big names coming. We got Nathan the Island Boy George. He's out of the 101st Airborne. He's kind of a local hero around here. And I've got him fighting Dwayne Crespo Jr. Dwayne Crespo Jr. has been on Power Slap 9 times. His last fight was in Dirty Boxing. Yeah. His last fight was in Dirty Boxing against Yoel Romero. So he's coming out, and that's going to be a pretty big one. And then we got a local boy named Superboy Seth Duran. He's a boxer here. He just went pro. He's 1-0. He went down to Panama and won his first pro boxing match. But I'm putting him with a guy who's 3-0, Willie Lee Henderson out of Georgia. And Willie Lee's a kickboxer who wants to try his hand in boxing. But he's no joke. If you look, these guys this is going to be some fights. For 3 pro fights, these fights are going to be pretty crazy.
Right. No, I love that. I love the way that you're doing. I mean, your previous shows over there at the Mariachi have been fantastic. What made you, even though you might go back and do that again, what made you step up or out, I should say, to the DoubleTree?
Well, so I'm still at Plaza. We're not going from Plaza. Really, the DoubleTree, and the reason we're kind of doing a double header is we did it our last PKB at the Troubadour. And it was great, but we sold it out.
Right.
And it got crowded and it got tight and there wasn't room. So we're jumping up to almost a 7,000 square foot room. It might be overkill, but I think I can go into a 3rd or possibly a 4th mat and get everybody in and out faster. And like I said, cutting it off earlier, we're going through some growing pains. Our last event, and so many people showed up. We jumped from like 80 or something to 150, and we weren't expecting it. And we had to keep jumping on the website and opening up tickets for people to come in and spectators. And the location we did it at actually had to open their own property next door. So we had place that people could go and kind of overflow. Great problem to have. The community in Tennessee is really, really backing us. I mean, and I'm getting, like I said, calls every day. I've got guys from Kentucky coming down to our PKBs, Alabama, Georgia. The community's big time behind us. I've even got other promoters like Don, who's going to be on here pretty soon. He's got a bunch of guys coming to our card, and we're doing some pretty cool stuff between me and him.
Now you bring up Don Roger. You know, Don Roger's been with us for a minute. There, what has that relationship been like? You know, it seems like I have to keep breaking up this marriage between you two. Sitting around, drinking tea and talking fight sports here lately, and every time I talk to you, you say Don. Every time I talk to Don, he says KC, and I say, "Well, Don, when are you getting married?" He says, "Soon."
Well, right now we're a little attached at the hip. I mean, we got, and I won't take all of his thunder. I'll wait for him to jump on here. But he's bringing some pretty big fights out of his organization and from North
Yeah,
Carolina out to
yeah.
Tennessee. So we're a little attached to the hip until May 8th.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think it'll be beyond May 8th. But you guys, like I said, that kind of
I think so too.
collaboration is what I like. I think that collaboration is what I like among promoters instead of people fighting against one another. Look, we don't need to be infighting, right? We don't need to be infighting. We need to be working together and trying to grow. And that's one of the reasons why I let my reps kind of control the calendar. Where Don is also a rep in his area, and he's kind of bringing in a lot of new promotions and stuff like that in the area. There, we got Mike over there with you. Kind of controlling that calendar, making sure all of my guys across the country. Of course we have competition, right? We have other people who try to see us and they see us growing in certain areas. That's the very area they try to come to. That's not what we do. What we do is go build the area. We don't need to come and copy and try to steal all your promoters and all. We don't need to do that. We go and we build it and we create them and we train them and we try to bring in nice professional shows to these areas. What do you think it is, KC, about you that is somewhat attracting these trainers in a way that they may not be used to?
I think really it's a lot of it's attention to detail. A lot of it's
That's what Don says too. I can tell you two have been talking.
no. I think a lot of it's attention to detail. I think it's trying to put the fighter first. I can go get a lot smaller venues, cheaper venues. I mean, different things. But then I don't want my fighters warming up outside in a parking lot under a tent. I don't want my guys jammed up in a hallway trying to figure it out. I don't want to put 25 people in a 15 by 15 room. So I really go a little above and beyond. And I do a lot of crazy stuff. I reach out. I've got a cryotherapist who goes backstage and he sits with the guys. And if you got a bump, a bruise, or whatever else, they're out there doing that. We had a massage therapist there last time. My thing is I just try to give as much as I can to everybody and use all the networking we can to do as much as we can to that the guys come. I didn't grow up and I didn't fight in the nicest of environments.
Right.
We were kind of just thrown to the wolves. It was, it almost seemed like a bad 80s movie sometimes. There's a lot of these guys who are going to do this and they're going to look back on these memories and this stuff. And that's going to be the highlight of not their life. They're going to have kids. They're going to get married, everything else. But this is going to be the good old days that they talk about all the time. I give my guys t-shirts. I make sure they get posters with their own self printed on it. I want them to look back and go, man, remember when I did that? I want them to walk into a place with 1,000 people and a live DJ and music and lights and a production. I don't want to just go throw a show together and treat the fighters like they're hired help. I'm only there because the fighters are choosing to be there and fight and put their whole thing on the line for us. So I do a lot to give back. You even tell me on a constant basis to slow it down. I have different referee shirts every time. I try to make it a production. I mean, I want a production.
Yeah, I actually have some of those shirts hanging up in my back because I wear them on different things as well because they're very nice shirts, and I appreciate
Wait till you see the new ones.
Yeah. As we wind down, I do want to ask you about your relationship with the IKF and all, and how has that been to help you do what you've done in such a short period of time? I mean, you've only been doing this for a few years. Yeah. How do you think the IKF has been able to help you sustain and even grow what you're doing?
Support staff and guidance. I mean, you're there anytime I need a question to ask or answer the phone. Everybody's reached out. The refs and the officials we've all brought. Jenny's amazing. I mean, anybody that you ever that's part of the IKF. And I came from, like I said, a little bit of the old school. My mentality was, what do you mean no knockouts? And that was, when Ryan started doing it, Ryan Hodges has been supportive. I mean, everybody I talked to has been great and super supportive, and everybody always extends their hand. And you helped me and guide me along the way and telling me, what is it, Johnny Davis 101? Do this, try this, don't try that. So, but I mean, it's just been support all the way through. Tony's amazing. Everybody's always helped with everything. But like I said, biggest thing I can say is put the fighters first. Push everything you can. Try to give them the best, experience you can. Mike Ely is amazing. Me and Mike talk more than me and Don. I think he's jealous.
Right.
But yeah, no, we just got a lot going on, and we kind of keep it going. And I think the biggest thing is attention to detail. I try to match my fights 90 days out. They're not all matched in 90 days, but it's, I get phone calls from guys telling me they don't want to be on other promotions because, they didn't have a fighter matched with them until a week before, and then it doesn't seem fair. And really, it is constant communication with the coaches and the fighters and doing the best we can.
Right. Well, I think you really do some quality shows, and I'm really happy that you're a part of, what we are trying to do in the future. And my final question for you will be, ultimately in 10 years, right, what would success look like to you?
Where are you sitting? No, I'm just kidding. No, you know what?
Oh, that would be Don. That would be Don's answer. They tell me all the time, I want to be whatever you're doing. That's what I want to do. But hey, it's not as easy as it may look. I'm trying to tell people, oh, well, I want to do what you're doing. Well, but there's a lot of accumulative.
I've already learned that the hard way. Hey, running a PKB is not as easy as you think it's going to be. No. Running a full contact's not as easy as you think it's going to be. Running a pro show is not as easy as you think it's going to be. I'll tell you what, I'm kind of a glutton for punishment. 25 years ago, I walked into a Muay Thai gym and got the and now I'm promoting and letting everybody else beat it out of me.
Got your Wi-Fi going in and out a little bit.
Yeah, no problem. But now I let everybody beat a little bit out of me. But it's what would I like to do? I want a complete community, almost a quarterly show. My plan is to do 4 shows in Tennessee a year. Plus we've added a couple of extras, but I want to have that core 4 shows. I want weight classes they're doing it. I want to do either a South Tennessee Classic or a Southeast Regional Classic. I'm going to do something like that. I want to do a couple-day tournament. My goal is for it to just keep getting bigger and bigger. And I don't want to say autopilot because I don't think it'll ever be autopilot. You can't take your foot off the gas. But I want it to be where people know that in 90 days there's another show coming up, and I want to get on that show, and I want to defend my belt. I want to go take that guy's belt. That's what I really want.
Right. Again, I think you're on the right track. I mean, a couple of years you've already established. What we're trying to do with IKF is actually trying to give you that platform to be able to do that and to grow these fighters and give them a reason to, train and be some. Listen, I try to tell people, fighting is hard. It's not something I recommend making a living out of. But I tell you, the promoters and the people who we're working with, we're trying to at least give them a platform to fill that bucket list, even if temporarily, right? So that they can take those qualities of fighting into other aspects of their life. And before I let you go, shout out your social media and how people can contact you, Kevin.
Top10promotions.com, Top 10 Promotions at Top 10 Promotions on Instagram. You can look up Top 10 Promotions on Facebook. I want to give a shout out to Edward Massey. He's from Ninja Creative LLP. He runs all my social media. I don't know if you've seen our newest poster with the police cars and all the other stuff. The guy's amazing. I got 2 partners that I couldn't do this without. 3, if I include you, Mr. Davis. I couldn't do this without Edward. I couldn't do this without Mike Ely. These 2 guys make all this possible and everything else. We picked up Bud Light for the year. They sponsored us, and the United States Army. They've both been huge for us. So without the support from the gyms, the support from my guys, my team, everybody else, Sam Alvey, amazing. Guy's always jumping up to help and do anything he can.
Right.
I've been blessed. I a bunch of the girlfriend's supportive. Everybody's supportive. Sabina, you see her; she's at every show and does everything.
At some point, let me just dive into that. At some point, you keep saying girlfriend, girlfriend, girlfriend. Maybe that might change. I don't know. You can make the announcement here right now, or you can make it later. Hey, he said, "Don't get me in that, Johnny. Don't do that to me."
I know. But
anyway, Casey Rogers, he's out of Nashville, Tennessee. They were top 10 promotions, doing an excellent job over there. We appreciate you being a part of the IKF. We'll look to talk to you real soon, okay, brother?
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, talk to you later. All right,
thank you, everybody.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Casey Rogers there. He's a good guy doing some good stuff. A noble guy, and that's a noble, honorable, really trying to do the right thing for the sport. And that's what we're looking for in the IKF. Anybody's interested in being a part of the IKF, you can contact us on our platform, IKFFightPlatform.com, or anything, Johnny Davis, kickboxing, Muay Thai, whatever, you can contact me here, or you can contact Ms. Tony Fossum. Also there in California at our headquarters, we have something for you, whether it's semi-contact, full contact. We're having meetings with people across the country right now and beyond. Actually, I have some international meetings coming up as well. I like the growth. I like the direction that we're going because we are trying and sincere about trying to make things special and better for the fighters. Our protocols we have in place, we're about safety, guys. So know that if it's going to be IKF, we are really trying to follow the protocols and things that are going to keep people safe. But at the end of the day, while they go out there and beat the crap out of one another. All right, that is a fact. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, I'm going to bring up my next guest there. He's Mr. Don Rogers. He's out of, I'm going to say Apex, North Carolina. I don't have to give his exact address. All right. But we're certainly glad you're on today, Don. How are you, sir? Is Don muted? I think Don is muted, guys. You're muted, Don. You got to unmute yourself, sir. There you go. Well, while he's getting himself unmuted there for a minute, we will just put some other information up about his club, his Apex kickboxing team, and all the things that he has going on. By the way, Don Roger has been promoting with us. I like to say, 10 years or so now. And he was also our IKF on East Coast Promoter of the Year. So he's been doing this quite a long time. He's done over 50 events with us, over 50 events, that's semi and full contact. And I tell you, it's hard to get people to stick and stay for that amount of time, but he's certainly done that and everything. As I look at his picture on the thing, I also see that nice award. I think somewhere I've probably given him that award of the guy with the cup and everything sitting back there as well. Because, we try to recognize our promoters. We try to give them the leadway and everything as he's sitting there trying to unmute himself. All right. Apparently he can hear everything that I'm saying. And everybody right now is just sitting there looking at Don trying to unmute himself. But I'm sure that is coming. I'm going to put him down in the lobby there for just a moment and talk about a few upcoming events we have on. Don, when you come on, just say something and I know that you're ready to go. Okay, sir? All right, for sure. All right, here we go, guys. So we'll be talking with Mr. Don Roger in just a moment. There's to get him muted. I want to talk about a couple of the upcoming events that we have. Guys, I am telling you right now, IKF is getting really busy. The month of May is crazy, by the way. Remember, you can always see all of that information at IKFFightPlatform.com. But coming up next month, guys, we are taking over Reno. We have our IKF West Coast Classic. It's going to be like a tournament fight night over there with Miss Tony Fossum and her team on the West Coast. May 15th through the 17th, 2026. It's going to be at the Grand Sierra Resort and Casino, guys. You can get registered right now at IKFFightPlatform.com for that event. Also in Reno, on May the 30th, super great event they have over there with the Legion Sports Expo. Full rules Muay Thai tournaments, all full rules, all elbows. Mr. Ryan Hodges with this Muay Thai purist team are going to be over there with the IKF. It's an IKF sanctioned event as well. And they'll be at that Legion Sports Expo. Really good event. They're currently matching for that. You should also be able to find their information on the platform, IKFFightPlatform.com or IKFFightSports.com. I think they have a Muay Thai Purist address as well. And I think you can look at the flyer there. I think it's Muay Thai Purist.com. And you should be able to see their information as well. But that information will also be on the platform as, we will be sanctioning that event as well. And also in May, Takeover, Reno, Nevada. It's going to be happening, some big fights. So if you're looking to get into some real action here, before the biggie, the IKF World Classic in July 10th through the 12th in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Flamingo Hotel and Casino. That's going to be a good event. We're already moving up pretty good. Registration is kicking pretty strong. It's the kind of event that we don't want to be clear that we have like fight nights on every show. We break them down into like 3 or 4 shows and all. We have 2 rings. We have lights, camera, action. A lot of you guys have been seeing some of the promotion and things that we're doing on that. I mean, this tournament is for everybody. It's for men. It's for women. It's for juniors. It's for seniors. And we're also going to have freestyle Muay Thai, freestyle kickboxing also on those tournaments, in those tournaments. And that includes the one in Nevada coming up, as well as our IKF World Classic in Las Vegas. So, I mean, a reason to join. All of the information is right there on the IKFFightPlatform.com or IKFFightSports.com. This summer, there's no reason for you not to come out to the World Class. And listen, it is the fight capital of the world. Everybody wants to fight in Las Vegas. Come on. It's a lot going on there and a lot of good stuff right on the Strip and all. And so I hope you guys are making plans to come out there. Remember, too, we have a deadline that's coming up on this Saturday, right? It's not a dead deadline. It is a deadline for the fee, the registration fee. I mean, it is actually going to go from, I can hear you now, Don. It's actually going to go from 115 to like 135, right? So you guys need to go ahead and get registered right now for the IKF World Class and do it before Saturday, right? And save some money. Now, listen, you can still register after Saturday all the way up until probably June something, right? Late June. However, we only have 4 fighter brackets, right? And if they field, then they're filled, right? And then, but we have different divisions, men, women, juniors, different weight classes, different rule styles, actually 5 different rule styles, if not 6 different rule styles, international rules, unified rules, modified Muay Thai, full rule Muay Thai with elbows, freestyle kickboxing, and freestyle Muay Thai. Ha! That's a lot. We also have the PMT, the semi-contact, is also going to be going on that Saturday at the World Classic. So you got a reason to join to come out to Las Vegas, right? And so the semi-contact, you can do pmtwest.org for that registration. That registration is up and going right now. So you can got a team. You can bring some for the full contact, some for the semi-contact. Make sure you bring enough trainers to help you because we're going to have a lot of that going on at the same time at the Flamingo, July 10th and 12th in Las Vegas, Nevada. Come on down to the fight capital of the world. We hope to see everybody there. Get your teams ready, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, I think we have Mr. Don Roger ready there. I hear some stuff going on in his background, so I'm assuming that he is ready to go, as they say. Ready to go, y'all. All right, let's see. Can we find it here in the live? Here you're just fine. We're going to go ahead and ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the one and the only, Mr. Don Rogers. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine. Sorry for the mishap. Apologies.
Hey, man. No problem, man. It's okay to have. I roll with the glitches. You know what? That's a pretty good saying right there. I roll with the glitches. I think some people need to maybe copyright that or something. I don't know. That's pretty good. I like it. Don, how are you, brother?
I'm doing fine. Hope you are.
Good. Now, I'm hearing an echo. I don't know if you have me on your phone or you have another device on or something. I don't know. You might. Sometimes people have another device. So it's not bad, but I think I am hearing myself. Okay, let's move forward. All right, Don. So, you've been a busy man here lately, sir.
Yes,
I'm going to take people back just for a moment and let's talk about how is it that we even met, right? Go back for a minute. Remind people how we met, sir.
Oh, my very first event in 2016. I was a little ambitious. I rented out the Dorton Arena, a 7,000 seat stadium. And
thank you for saying that, Don. Just a little. Now listen. Now let me be clear. Don and I had not met at that time. We met, well, I think it was like the week of your show, right, Don?
No, it was actually the day of my show.
Was
You
it the
showed up
day?
at the event with all 300 people in the audience and introduced yourself. By the way, you rolled up in a limo, which was pretty impressive.
Ah,
And,
yes.
and then
My
you
friend.
started asking me about kickboxing and talked to me a little bit about the IKF. And at the time, I had no idea what you were talking about. So I kind of pushed it off to the side, did my second event, and you kept contacting me. And then by the time the third event rolled around, I was IKF. That was our first show together. And I started doing PKBs. I'm about to have my 30th PKB, well, 30th personal PKB, plus
Wow.
I partner with another, with United Thai Boxing.
Right.
We're on our fourth, so 34 total PKBs.
Wow.
And I've done, this will be my 17th full contact show coming up in June. And, been trying to build a community and been, working to get as many gyms as possible connected with us and as many new promoters on board. So
Don, you
that's
said,
how
Don,
we met.
if I could interject there just for a moment, you said something that was kind of interesting to me. So before you met me and everything, you just kind of jumped out there, and you just, what was it about just your ambition or your desire to just dive in without even having the knowledge of really knowing what you were doing? What made you do that? I mean, what is it about? Maybe we can kind of figure out why some people are still doing that today.
Well, I was training in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and in kickboxing at the time, and I had just opened up. I was going to a couple different schools, and I had just figured I wanted to open up my own place because I wanted to try something a little different. So I did, and then as I was doing that, I realized there was no place in North Carolina for anybody to compete.
Mm,
And so somebody had to step up and give people a platform because kickboxing and Muay Thai were essentially dead when it came to competition in the state.
yes, 100.
So I figured, let me try this. I'm trying to build a gym. I had nothing at the gym, maybe 30 students, and most of them were BJJ students. And then, I started putting more time into it because my passion ended up being in striking, as opposed to, I still love Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but striking was my main thing.
Are you
And then
ranked in Are you ranked in jiu-jitsu? I had that question just popped in my head the other day.
I am, but it's a lower rank because I quit doing jujitsu
Oh no,
probably
that's
about
fine. No, I'm just
yeah,
curious.
yeah.
Yes.
I'm just a lowly two-stripe blue belt in
Okay.
jiu-jitsu.
That's fine.
But so I started doing that, and then I had some people that that I was training up that needed a place to compete, and then, like I said, there was nothing. And so I figured what could I do, and I said, well, I'll promote. I had no idea what the PKBs were at that time. Semi-contact. So at the time, it was either you did, you just went to somebody's gym and competed in a smoker, or that was really the only option. You had to travel to do that.
Right.
So I figured, let me just see if I can do this. And I had a friend of mine who was a boxing promoter that I was helping, giving him some assistance, and he sort of showed me some of the steps along the way. It was all boxing based, but
Right.
how to promote, a boxing event. And then after the first event, lost a lot of money, but I gained a ton of experience. Second event,
Right.
I did things much better. Came back with a whole notebook full of information and broke even on my second event. So lost a lot of money on the first
Right.
one, broke even on my second. And then the challenge was there to see if I could build something bigger. And so,
Mhm.
and mind you, I'm working a full-time job. I'm running a gym, and now I'm trying to become a promoter at the time. So, by the third event, the name started getting out there, trickling out to people, and I started getting more local gyms involved. And then fast forward, 17 events later, now I have, we have the IKF behind it. We've got the PKBs that are bringing people up so they don't have to jump into a ring and be overwhelmed.
So Don, let me ask you. Let me insert right there. How? Tell me about the value of the PKBs to your club, to your gym members, and to your promotions.
Huge. Mainly because it's a lot of guys get skittish about wanting to jump into the ring right out of the gate,
Mm,
and do 3 2-minute rounds. It is intimidating for anybody.
Right.
But with the PKBs, you get a 1.5 minute rounds, and it's not as formal, and you can sort of work the bugs out and get the heebie-jeebies out. And
Right.
my guys now, I don't even let them think about doing amateur fights until they've done at least 10 PKBs. I've got one of mine making his debut on Casey's card, and then what that has done is some of the guys that train at my gym went to different promotions that had no established rule sets.
Mm.
So they were straight kickboxers fighting Muay Thai fighters, but there were no rules delineating the styles.
Exactly.
So they were
that's also very dangerous, by the way.
Very dangerous, because they were starting to lose the gratification of being in the sport.
Right.
So what we ended up doing was retooling, because essentially when I started, I was a straight international kickboxing coach. That's what I learned. That's how I came. After COVID hit, we retooled and became more of a Muay Thai based program. So now we got guys that can work through the technical issues in the PKBs. Right. And once they get going, then we put them up, and we've gone from, I've got about a half a dozen people now, 3 with titles, one fighting for United States title on Casey's card. That transition helped us grow in the direction of the global sport, rather than being pigeonholed with just one set of rules. So the rule styles are amazing, and this is why I tell my guys I'm never going to allow anybody to fight in an unsanctioned event. If there's not established rules and there's not safety in place, and not respected a ranking system, then there's no point, because it's not going to really count in the bigger scheme of things.
Right.
And you never know what you're going to get. Right. So
right.
Having all these different rule styles, I can now tune my guys. My guys start with unified rules. They learn the basics of clinch in stress mode in the competition. And then once they're past that, then we do full rules Muay Thai. Right. So I kind of still have a gradual path that I bring them up through, and I just don't throw them right into Muay Thai, because that too can be intimidating for a lot of people.
Right. And I like the fact that you're open-minded about, your different levels of skills. And like you work with like Krupal, for example. There was a nice video out there of you guys working together and her showing things about the clinch, who always say that she's one of the best Muay Thai practitioners in all the United States. That's my opinion. But you're open-minded to that type of learning. How do you think that separates you from a lot of trainers?
I don't know if it separates me, but my logic is, I love Krupal, by the way. And I've had Chris Clodfelter from 8 Points out. And it's funny, because I've had a couple of guys that have won titles and gone pro on my cards, like George Copa, Jacques Ornell. All these guys come into my gym and train with my guys too. And these were guys that I saw in their first fight on my card. And now they're professional, and not, we've got a couple of pros out there. Right. Caleb Hunter, another one who's working with our guys now on clinch. So, watching all these guys come up through the ranks and become professional fighters, and now them giving back to us, is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it really is. You talk about collaboration, and you mentioned about, KC and stuff like that. And now you're trying to build a network of promoters within that triangle area and everything. How has that been? And what is your motivation to finally, I will say, start doing that?
I just want it, same as Casey. I just want to expand the sport. I want IKF to have the East Coast. We've got the West Coast. East Coast is here, and we've got a lot of people that want to come on. Like you said, I've already brought on one promoter. I have one full contact promoter. I have a second one that I'm bringing on. And I've got 3 PKB promoters that I'm bringing on, all within South Carolina, North Carolina. And we're going to kind of control that calendar, so we give this local community something to do every month. Right. And this way there's not any dead time. And speaking of which, I wanted to just mention this about Casey. I've been speaking with him too, and you as well, how we can build this so between Casey's events, my events, and your events, next year we should have something big every other month. Every other month for Carolina, North Carolina, the East Coast. And to see that come to fruition, to expand the PKBs, see the community continue to grow. That's my motivation because I love this community.
Right, right. I think it's a great motivation. Well, we just also added something that we rarely do. Number one, I will talk about we just locked down the date, August 29th, for our Midwest Classic. That's going to be, I think it's Indianapolis or somewhere like that, with Mr. Sadiq and the team over there. We have our IKF Fall Classic coming up October the 16th and 17th in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. But we also added, and something that that Steve was very hesitant with me for years, and I was hesitant with Don, right? That's coming up for our regional tournament. That's going to be in November, I think it's 20 and 21st in South Carolina. Tell me a little bit about the fact that you now are going to be hosting that type of tournament and your expectations.
Yeah, this is a big one for me. This is the biggest one I've ever done. 2-day tournament, Friday night tournament, Saturday PKB all during the day. Saturday night's going to be a Pro-Am fight night. I've never bitten this much off. A little nervous about it, not going to lie. But I've talked to a lot of gyms that are already I've already have 3 pro fights lined up for it, and it's we're still in April. So I've got.
Well, explain the pro fight part because some people might not understand how that might correlate with an amateur tournament.
Yeah, so this is why we're doing the tournament Friday night. Like I said, the PKB all day Saturday. Saturday afternoon, starting around 5:30, we're going to do title bouts, amateur title bouts, all the way up until probably about 10 o'clock. Then we're bringing in the professional bouts. These are going to be long 7 to 9 round fights with guys that have come up through the IKF and that are current title holders in the IKF. Nice. Yeah, 2 of them are making their pro debut, and one of them has fought for us a couple of times. So, it's exciting, and I'm really looking forward to it. Very nervous, but I think once we get this going, it's just like the very first show. I dove in, so I'm going to dive in and see what happens. On that front, speaking with Casey, my buddy Casey, we're talking.
I'm sure there's a wedding coming up at some point. We just got to get ready for it.
Yeah, well, between the 3 of us, being able to have that type of high quality events for everybody on the East Coast is just going to be a huge thing, and I'm really looking forward to it.
I think so. Well, Don, you work your butt off, and again, one of the reasons why, we've been working together for over 10 years now, and stuff like that. So let me just quickly ask you before I leave, why have you hung in there with us through good times and bad times?
You mean all the times you told me I was going to abandon ship and I'm still here?
But you never know.
By now you never know. Okay, thanks.
Right. People like smile on your face, stab you in the back. But we have been together for 10 years, and we have been growing stuff, and and it's been good and bad, overall good, and stuff like that. Why do you think you've stuck with us, for that amount of time? With one, now listen, let me just say this. I've only ever, in my entire professional promotional life, only sanctioned ever with IKF. It's only been with IKF. That's it. So what you're doing right now is not really odd, but I'm just asking. I had my reasons. I'm asking, what has been your reasons thus far, other than what a great guy I am?
Well, look, people who know us know there's a little bit of a story behind it. Yeah. We've bumped heads a few times, but in the end, IKF's a quality organization. You're a stand-up guy. I know I can depend on you.
Thank you.
And so grass is always greener. I've worked with, I've talked to other sanctioning bodies. Sure. And there was a time where I was considering that. But at the end of the day, I know what I have here, and I'm able to do what I want to do, as the IKF. And there's no reason for me to go anywhere. I'm invested in this. And like I said, grass is always greener. I've talked to these other guys, and there's nothing better that they're offering. I think we're offering the best. The fact that we have all these different rule styles, and when you go to most of these other ones, you're stuck into a single rule style. Right. That is huge for a lot of our community. And that's another big plus for the IKF.
Right, right. Well, I mean, I certainly appreciate it, man. I think again, you do a fantastic job, and it's kind of like relationships, like with women, right? You know, it's the same thing. It's like every time you have a little bump, do you just leave it? Well, some people do, all right, and they go get another one, right? And then they're starting all over again. You're starting all over again. It's like I say, in relationships, it's like a 60-40 concept I have, right? It's better, in my opinion, to fix the 40, right? And start at 60 as opposed to starting zero with a whole new relationship and trust and all of those things like that. So that to me works in life, not only with the organization and everything. I'm going to ask you as I close out here what I asked KC about 10 years from now. In 10 years from now, which I'll be really old, 73, 73 years old, I probably couldn't even pick my leg up by then if I'm still on the planet. What would be a sign of success for you, Don Roger? When if you were to look at it 10 years from now, what would be your sign of success?
Well, first off, you're only 2 years older than me, so we're not that far off.
I don't know why I feel like I'm so much older than you. I don't know why.
No, I turned 60 in July. So,
Okay.
So success
July,
would be,
hold on, Don.
yeah,
July what?
July 22nd. You know this. We talk about this all the
I
time.
keep forgetting though. All right, I'm the 15th. I keep forgetting. We're
Yeah.
kindred spirits, man. Anyway.
Yeah, both cancerous.
Yeah, the way you said that, it's just something about the way you said that, Don. All right, as you
So,
were, sir.
so where do I see it? I see it. My hope is, I told you I have a day job. I'm going to be retiring in 2 years.
Mhm.
When I do that, this is all I'm going to do. And
Nice.
10 years from now, what I'd love to see is this East Coast just completely bustling with all kinds of events, all kinds of promoters, preferably all IKF, and
Yes.
we just have we triple the community.
Right.
That would be the thing. For me, it's all about giving the opportunity. I've transitioned. I still coach my fight team,
Right.
but for me, the majority of my time right now is spent trying to create opportunity.
Right.
And quality opportunity, much like Casey. That's why him and I align. You've seen my events. You see how much I put into them. It's all about production.
Yes.
And I'm going to continue doing that and giving local guys a Vegas-style atmosphere to be able to make their kickboxing debut. Something they're going to remember the rest of their life.
Well,
That's what
guys, I
I'm
want you to know Don Rogers, he does a fantastic show. I'm talking about lights, camera, action, fights run on time, they run back to back. I mean, he feeds the fighters like better than he feeds me. I can tell you that right now. But I mean, he sets up such a nice program for these guys. They just want to keep coming back, And Casey's doing the same thing. I try to do a little bit of it, but I'm kind of a different kind of format. But they do a fantastic job out there. And so Don, I just want to say personally, let me say this really quick before I let you go. This year, we had an award ceremony. You were nominated as the North Carolina IKF North Carolina Promoter of the Year. How did that make you feel?
Good. It was actually the East Coast.
East Coast.
Yeah. That was it was a little bit unexpected because it does encompass the entire East Coast.
Because I didn't tell you anything, and I talked to you all the time. You had no idea.
No, I had no idea. Truly had no idea. But it was a great honor to get it, and hopefully, we can continue what we built and keep it going, and then get another award in 5 years.
Yes.
See how that goes.
Well, the idea of it is that I say that I am because we are, and because we are, therefore I am. It's an old African proverb. Right. And you have to understand that, you can't just do all this by yourself. It's not. You have to create a team, right? A loyal, hardworking team of people that are willing to do what they need to do. And as a result of that, they will make you grow as well. And so that's what you are. And so I appreciate you being a part of the organizations as I do others and all that. Before we let you go, give a shout out your social media. How can people reach out to Don Roger and his Triangle Kickboxing Promotions?
Yeah, so two things. Thank you for saying that. TriangleKickboxingPromotions.com or just the first three letters of each word, TryKickPro.com. Social media, TryKickPro, both on Facebook and Instagram. Also want to take a shout out to my girlfriend who's at every single event running the whole front end of the box office and my team at my gym because without them, I couldn't put these events on. So thank you, everybody.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it from the one and the only Lightning Strikes guy, Triangle Kickboxing Promotions, IKF PKB guy, and all of that, Mr. Don Roger. Thanks so much, sir, for being on today.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you so much. All right, Don Roger there. Don Roger, listen, I'm about relationships. I'll be honest with you. I try my best to have strong relationships with my promoters. That's what I'm doing pretty much throughout the week, is having conversations with people, trying to give my best information I can do, talking about what we can do better and all of that. It's not easy sometimes, I'll be very honest, and it definitely weighs on you. A lot of people say, God, all Johnny does is just talk, and work out on his videos and all that. But I'm trying to tell you, there's a lot more to this game than that. And the idea of it is that, in order to build something that's going to be lasting, for whatever time I have left on this planet, right? I want to make sure, like Don, like KC, and like my other promoters across the country, that we have something solid and something that people can really put their teeth in. And for those fighters out there who are pursuing this perhaps one day or now as a living, that at the end of that rainbow, we can truly have something waiting for them that can help take care of their families and stuff. And do it in ways that they don't have so much damage at the end of the day, hence why we have our semi-contact incubator. So there's a lot more to it than what some people might realize. But I do know that I am very honored to be working with people who care the way I care, people who feel the way I feel about growing the sport and trying to do it in the most fun and exciting way and professional way. Listen, I always say, some of you sponsors, potential sponsors out there, you should take a look at what IKF is doing, what we're doing across the country with all the events and things like that. Those type of things that we are doing, I believe, is something that can serve you well as a business, as a company. We have a huge following out there, and I really believe that we can benefit your company and your organization if that is the case. But I want you to take a look at us. You can contact us on the platform, IKFFightPlatform.com. You can also reach us on IKFFightSports.com. There's a lot of avenues out there and a lot of different things to do. But what I will say to you, that I know that we are trying our darnest to bring you something special. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. Thanks to all my guests for being on the show today. You can check us out on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We're out there. Everybody, please always respect each other. Fort March, this is Johnny Davis Live, and I'm checking out, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.